Hello, my name is Gordon Glenister. I'm the host of Influence, the global podcast that shines a spotlight on the influencer marketing industry. I recently interviewed 5 amazing fashion content creators as part of a series with our friends from LTK. So what you're going to see over the next few minutes is snippets from those amazing interviews under the subject of influencers are the new retailers. Their insights and their stories I think you'll find absolutely fascinating.
Yeah, so from the start, I've always been very much building a capsule wardrobe, timeless pieces. I don't really jump into the trends too much. And being on LTK, you get to see your stats and like the insights too. So it's handy to look at what your audience are actually looking at more and what they're clicking on, what they are buying as well. So for me, it's always just been quite simple. People love like blazers and good denim and knitwears. And that's definitely where I think my niche is. And I know that's what my audience come to me for. So I'd say just like classic, easy to style. Everyone kind of owns something and can make an outfit from it. Yeah, for sure. And I think a really great benefit of influencers and this whole space is, as you say, people can go into a shop and they can like a jumper or a blouse, but maybe you don't know how to style it or only know one outfit it would go with. Whereas they can come onto our pages and see that we've bought the blouse or we've got something similar. And here's how we'd wear it in this way and this way and this way. You can do smart and casual. And it really gives them more kind of options. And again, coming from somebody who they trust and like their style as well. So yeah, I think it's just a really handy thing. Definitely building the trust. And also people find the influencers that they resonate with. So some people definitely won't like my style and won't come to me ever for anything other than maybe they want to see my interiors, but not my fashion. Whereas there will be somebody out there that they resonate with and they can get all their tips from. So it's great. I think there's always somebody out there that the audience can relate to.
And
It was crazy. More just so I feel like with us guys, we're all very much inside. It's me and a camera. And then when it's then put onto the street and it's a 10-foot poster in a window of like my shop, it was just crazy. Such a cool experience. But I think the best part of the whole thing was obviously people that have LTK know what LTK is, and people that follow me shop the things that I share. But to have it out in the street then actually made so many more people aware of how to use LTK as a platform. So people could scan there's a barcode on the window which would link to my shop, and there was a couple other creators as well. And so the public could walk past and just scan with their phones, and instantly it will take them to the app or the platform of LTK. And then it's just bringing awareness to so many more people that maybe wouldn't have known about it otherwise. And then also ran over a few days, but I did a panel there as well. So some of our followers came to listen and watch and ask questions. And it's just a really lovely kind of like community feel, especially after the pandemic as well. It just feels nice to be out doing that kind of thing again.
So I've got a background in curve modeling. I was a plus size model for about 6 years, and then gradually built up a following because I think people related to a larger body and liked seeing somebody happier in a larger body as well. So then I grew a following, and then through various means, getting management, being with LTK, I'm now able to monetize and lifestyle. And I love it. Like, it's totally transformed my life. I was in a telesales call center about 3 years ago. And now I know, yeah. And now I'm in this like warehouse in King's Cross, building platforms that work around the way that I think a lot of people build their life around their work. And I feel very lucky that I've managed to flip that. A lot of the brand partnerships I do are a lot of high street things. So all your big names, kind of ASOS, Topshop, Nasty Gal, people like that. And doing Instagram, YouTube and TikTok through with ads on all those different platforms. And I think like the tool, what's interesting about LTK is it allows me to monetize all my organic content, because I think influencers only had the choice of doing organic, which didn't earn them any money, but was important for growth and not to have a stream of ads, versus doing ad collabs. And I think there's a very interesting fusion with LTK now joining those two together. So LTK facilitates monetization pretty much 24 hours a day if I wanted to do it that much. And the reason I think why it's been so successful, well, apparently people say I'm quite seamless in the way that I sell. And I think selling is always quite a dirty word, and it doesn't necessarily need to be. I think what's interesting about me is because I was bigger, I found a way of solving a problem, which it still isn't really solved by that many influencers. A lot are size 8, size 10 girls. And being at like 16 or 18 end, there's still a problem where people don't know how to style things. They want to be comfortable. They don't know where to shop. They don't know how to put outfits together. So by creating content that solves that problem, I'm able to monetize the solutions. And I think a lot of people say that I'm quite refreshing. So I talk about like, you know, thigh chafing balms that you might need in the summer. And it's not all kind of glitzy, what you might love to wear to dinner. I can do those kind of ones as well, but just being really honest about, I love solving those little problems in your life. And I'm nearly 30 next year. So I think comfort's starting to take a precedence over style. So when you can find the two that mix, that's when it works really well. With brands, so putting budget behind it to boost how many people are seeing it, that happens very rarely with me, like maybe once or twice a year. Okay. And I think everyone's trying to find a way to cheat this algorithm. Yes. And it always comes back to the idea of creating really good, high quality content. And they say for you to go viral, it either has to be entertaining, educational, or inspirational.
Sure. So yeah, I'm Louisa Hatt. I'm a content creator based in Edinburgh. I've been doing it for about 2 years or so. And for the last year, I've been using sort of Like to Know It to sort of help support the more commercial side of what I do. So really at the moment, I'm focusing on building sort of my commerce industry through Instagram and also through Like to Know It. So trying to post consistently on Like to Know It so that mirrors my Instagram feed as well. Like to Know It's got lots of new features, things like gift guides, so just familiarizing myself with all of that as well, but also trying to educate my audience on things like affiliate links as well. So not assuming that people understand what those things are, but I think that's really important. I think especially for me, because I'm still learning as I go along, so I'm trying to sort of educate my audience at the same time when I learn. So yeah, I think it's because as influencers, we build a real level of trust with our audiences. So they trust what we say. They can come to us for advice on items, and I think certainly where I've been successful, my following isn't massive, but I have a really engaged following, and I'll only promote and share pieces that I feel really strongly about and that I love. And I think my following have come to trust me for that. So hopefully they don't feel like they're getting bombarded with lots of stuff, because I guess as an influencer I get sent quite a lot, but I'll only ever share a small amount of that, and it's pieces that I really, really believe in. So yeah, I think that it's that level of trust that influencers are building with their community and with their audiences, and I feel like that's what people need at the moment. It's unfortunate so many high street shops have closed, like massive ones like Topshop have now sort of gone online, and there's a lot of stuff online, but I think it's just a more efficient way, I think, for audiences to get what they want is through following an influencer who you trust, you love what they wear, you believe in what they say. You're so right. So sort of accessorizing such an important thing. Like I found that the pieces that sell the best or do the best tend to be sort of the staples. So sort of your classic shirts, sort of tailored trousers, and they're the pieces that you can sort of dress up and dress down as well through accessorizing, through changing up the shoes. And so yeah, absolutely. I think it is much more sort of beneficial and profitable for them to work with influencers, but working with influencers all year round, I think that consumers can personally, I think consumers can see through it when you're just promoting stuff because there's a discount that's there. And they tend to not engage with that. That's certainly what I found with my following. I'll sort of provide tips and recommendations throughout the year, but what I will do is make reference to things like Black Friday to say that, you know, Black Friday is coming up, there might be some discounts available on these pieces, but I certainly won't be pushing those discounts because I think if people love the products, they're going to buy them anyway.
So I'm Josie, and I started my online journey about 10 years ago. So I would call myself one of the old timers, one of the OGs of the influencer industry. And I've been able to see it changing and growing and flourishing in many ways in that 10 years. And it all started when I worked in the marketing team at Mulberry, the luxury handbag company. And I was also a bit of a teacher's pet at the time, still studying at university, and my lecturer would ask me, "Oh, Josie, do you mind if I put you in touch with a few of the girls in the younger years and guys, because they'd like to ask you some things about your job?" And I was getting asked the same questions over and over and over again. So I thought, I can't keep writing this out in individual emails. I'm going to pop it on the internet. So I Googled free websites, and the one that came up was Blogspot. And because I was mumbling, as I probably will do during this interview, so I apologize for that. Because I was mumbling about fashion, my blog became fashionmumbler.com. And to me back then, it was just a free website of sticking my thoughts on interning in the fashion industry and how to get your first job. So it was really about giving tips, giving advice. And then people would say, "Oh, Josie, I noticed you're wearing quite a cool lipstick. Tell me about that." Or, "I like your jumper. Where's that from?" And so then the articles turned from being just advice to being what I was wearing. So it was a very natural way of starting the blog. And it started with the blog and with Twitter, which funnily enough, I no longer use. And from then, I realized that the next exciting step would be to start a YouTube channel. And I would say that that was the real pivotal moment for me to make it into my full-time career. And that was 7 years ago, and I haven't looked back since. Yeah, definitely. I think it's certainly grown as my channels have grown, and in particular YouTube. I think that YouTube, for me personally, is my biggest sales driver. And I think it's interesting to compare that to the type of content that it is. Obviously with YouTube, as opposed to Instagram, for example, you've got someone that's invested in watching your video for, in my case, 40 minutes to an hour. That's a lot of time that they're investing. And that's a lot of time that they're watching you, even if you don't draw attention to it. If I wear this jumper, these earrings in a video, I don't even need to draw attention to it just by linking in the description box. I think there's an old marketing bit of research that said that 5 years ago, people had to see something 8 times to make an action. And now they have to see something 100 times because our attention span is so short. Indeed. So if you can have something in front of your audience for a long period of time, I think that that's why YouTube converts so well. But yeah, for me, it's really amazing to see the amount of sales that do get driven from all the various platforms. But I would say that YouTube is definitely the strongest driver.
Okay, so at the moment, my channel focuses, I post mainly on Instagram and on TikTok, and it focuses on hair content. So whether it be hairstyling or hair care or tips and tricks on hair, that's mainly what I focus on at the moment. I honestly couldn't have, I feel like the success of my brand is largely credited to influencers because I have my own platform, but like I said, to see it being worn and styled by other people is what pushes a customer to buy a product. Yes. And you know, they have completely different audiences, and it's just really put the word out there. So like you said, influencers know other influencers through events, networking events, meetings, trips. We all go abroad
on, and you build these relationships, and we're just, you know, we're all in the same game, so we all have each other's back. And it's sort of, they are, you know, we work alone, so they are our colleagues, if you will, because we don't have colleagues. So it's just people you can bounce ideas off, and where needs be, we do really help each other.
If you'd like to find out more about the BCMA, Branded Content Marketing Association, then head over to www.thebcma.info. Or if you want to subscribe to Influence the Global podcast, then do click on the link below.